Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Remember guys, I am at Working Money CH on Twitter. Mike Manfield here just brought this to my attention. There is another imposter trying to be me, or really trying to spoof my account, guys. He's WOO or 00RKING Money CH here, and as you guys can see, he has blocked me on Twitter. So please, guys, if you can, I will link his handle in the description of the video. If you guys can report him, that would be great. Thanks so much, Mike, for bringing this to my attention. You know, this kind of thing happens, well, it's happening more infrequently now, but unfortunately, these losers still exist. So if you guys can do me a solid, report this scumbag. Want to keep moving, though, because it's seeming as though more people are getting very excited about this crypto rally. Ki Young Ju here on Twitter posted this. Okay, Bitcoin just entered into the early bull phase. Now, this is the Crypto Quant on-chain bull bear market cycle indicator. And you guys can see here it is color-coded. The extreme bear market is denoted with this blue color. And as you guys can see throughout 2015, 2018, 2019, and now in 2022, 2023, we're kind of at the end of this extreme bear cycle, and we are entering what is referenced here as the early bull market. So again, really exciting considering we are seeing Bitcoin price rally. Right now, it's just sitting under 23,000 per coin. On the daily time frame, we are seeing this very bullish pattern. Over the last few days, Bitcoin had to just kind of take a chill pill. We did see a high of 23,800 per coin. The good news is we are above this level here, this former level of resistance that we saw for Bitcoin way back before the FTX collapse. So we're above that level of resistance, and now we just got to make 25,001, and then after that, obviously 32,003. So those are going to be two important levels to crack, and I mean, I think it's just a matter of time before we really take off, before we get above those levels and see more positive Bitcoin momentum. This is a good indicator, though, right, to give us a sense of where we are in this next Bitcoin cycle. Another interesting note here from Ki Jung Yu, most investors, guys, are still underwater. If you see on-chain PNL related indicators like MVRV, no one would want to sell here at a significant loss. If someone sells a lot, it's highly likely forced and unwanted selling due to bankruptcy, government seized coins, etc. So translation, in a lot of these cases, these Bitcoin holders are still underwater on their portfolios, right? If you had people FOMOing in 2021, then you would have been getting in and around here, okay? This would have been the end of 2020, beginning of 2021 in here, and we are still not above that level. We are still in and around here. So at best, if anybody invested in 2021, they would still be down about 15% on their portfolio. Another interesting observation here coming from Crypto Bull 2020 on Twitter with regards to XRP. XRP is printing its largest triangle in price history. The first triangle provided an 8,200% return. The second triangle provided a 2,100% return. And I think this third triangle can make many people wealthy. Now, just take a look at the size of these triangles and just take a look at some of those returns that we saw. So this larger one extended from 2014 until 2017, 8,200%. And then we saw 2,000% after this formation here from May of 2017 to about December of 2017, January 2018, another 2,000%. And now we are here, forming what is turning out to be the largest triangle so far. So, I mean, it's anybody's guess how high XRP can go from here. Let's bring up the XRP chart real quickly here. XRP right now trading at about 41.1, so 0.411. Not too much movement for XRP, unfortunately. It's part and parcel to what the rest of the space is doing at this moment. Another interesting observation from 24-hour crypto here on Twitter, Coinbase. Okay, they delisted XRP, but they hold it. So he took a look at the XRPscan.com database, and as you guys can see, Coinbase still does hold large quantities, well, I mean, relatively large quantities of XRP in their coffers. I mean, to me, guys, this is a big sign. This tells me they are ready to relist XRP as soon as there is clarity. One of the bigger exchanges ready to relist the coin, of course. Why would we be surprised about this? XRP is already being utilized, for example, to transfer your Bitcoin. Remember when we used to talk about this in the early days? Well, Spend the Bits, they just posted this. Greetings, XRPL community from Canada. We are happy to announce that we are onboarding merchants for the initial pilot to accept real-time Bitcoin payments. Now, this is the perfect wallet for sending Bitcoin fast and at an affordable price. The SpendBits wallet works on the XRPL, so you can transfer your Bitcoin over the XRPL, avoiding all the negative aspects of the Bitcoin blockchain. So they say here, if you are a business owner in Canada, please reach out and let us know, and you can email them here. So Spend the Bits, they've been really receptive. I had some problems with my wallet, and we're currently working through those issues. But now companies in Canada have the option to accept Bitcoin over the XRP ledger quickly, securely, affordably. All the benefits, obviously, that the XRPL does provide. So some great news there from Spend the Bits. I also saw this from XRP Crypto Wolf with regards to Stellar. So they just signed on to a pilot program with a large Ukrainian bank. Check this out, guys. Ukrainian banking giant finds success in using XLM for their pilot program. So this is Tascom Bank. They just recently announced the results of using the Stellar network to test their new digital pilot project. The purpose of the pilot program was to understand all the advantages of using blockchain when issuing electronic money, and Stellar was chosen as the ideal blockchain to test the idea. After all, the Stellar blockchain uses its native token XLM to facilitate transactions. Obviously, they too bridge currencies when one is trading between two fiat currencies. The results of the pilot project was positive, and the bank stated that it clearly highlighted many benefits, such as the fact that the transaction costs are lower and that each transaction was highly transparent. So in the Ukraine, they're also looking to use DLT technology, in this case, the Stellar XLM coin, to bridge currencies. And up here it says, based on these results, it looks like there's a very good chance that other banks and financial institutions within the Ukraine might also follow suit and utilize Stellar in the same way. So, this is generally how it goes when the competitors realize that their competition is using a brand new platform, whether any kind of new technology. I would assume they don't want to be left out. Obviously, it's one of those situations where nobody wants to be the first. Somebody has to take the leap of faith, but everybody wants to be the second once they see that it is a success. Here's a quote down here. As part of the pilot project, we explored a new way of issuing and managing electronic money, which could be a new generation means of payments for citizens and organizations of the Ukraine, their employees and clients, government institutions, and international organizations. The result of the pilot project presented the openness of the banking infrastructure to blockchain solutions in the future. JCS Tascom Bank could provide an appropriate level of financial services using blockchain assets, taking into account all regulatory requirements. So looks as though the Ukraine is on board with DLT technology. A lot of great information from this article, so I will link it in the description of the video if you guys are interested. Wanted to thank XRP Crypto Wolf for posting that. Also saw this, guys, from the Wrath of Kahneman. Okay, this has to do with Shopee. They are the largest South Asian e-commerce platform, and they use a product that is made by Tranglo. Now, we know Tranglo is a Ripple partner, and so now they're authorized to operate as a payment institution in Brazil. So here we have something interesting. Many countries around the world now adopting their own type of independent payment system, and now they are the ones who are, leveraging their technology to do business with other countries, whereas, usually we would see an intermediary. Here we have a Singaporean shopping app, okay, Shopee, owned by C Limited. They've just received authorization on Monday from Brazil's central bank, okay? So this is pretty big, to operate as a payment institution according to a notice in the government's official gazette. SHPP, Brazil Payment Institution and Payment Services, controlled by SHPP Brazil, will be able to manage prepaid payment accounts in which funds must be previously deposited. Shopee has become one of the most downloaded e-commerce apps in Brazil, drawing users to its low-cost marketplace from other local companies. Now, if they are integrated with Tranglo technologies, Tranglo leverages the XRPL, leverages XRP. So obviously, we're clearly witnessing the efficiencies there. Singapore headquartered C Ltd and its Sao Paulo-based company did not immediately respond a request for comment. Nevertheless, I'm sure we could speculate and get an idea of what could be going on here. In May, they were authorized as a payment institution in Brazil, and it looks like there is some Ripple development, but we cannot confirm that. Some unknowns that we still do not know if Ripple is involved in the Tranglo Shopee platform. Well, I would assume, if this company is leveraging Tranglo, it obviously is for the benefits the platform provides. If so, is it RippleNet, ODL? Brazil, Philippines, maybe Singapore. Does Forte figure into all this somehow? So some other questions to ponder. Anyway, wanted to thank Wrath of Kahneman for posting this. I mean, it's all great. More adoption of the XRPL, not just for payments, guys, healthcare as well. So a bit of an update from XRP Healthcare from DJ Peter Vass here on Twitter. This was just reported a couple of days ago. They just announced the inclusion of another critical and accomplished team member, Dr. Mark Ogriofa. He is a physician and biomedical engineer who has operated all over the world on the land and sea. So they are welcoming a brand new member to their team. As the practice of medicine and the delivery of healthcare catches up with the digital age, XRPH or XRP Healthcare has positioned itself not only to pioneer new accessibility for both patients and investors in the healthcare field, but also poised to create a new disruptive paradigm in how some of the most integral cogs in the worlds of pharmacy, cryptocurrency, and medicine all interact in ways that will create a new industry standard. So an interesting update here with regards to XRP Healthcare specifically. They're based in the UK and they were established just a few months ago in September. It is the first pharmaceutical and healthcare platform to be built on the XRP ledger. So guys, the first, probably not the last. I was talking about this in a video I did a few weeks ago. The use cases for the XRPL have completely exploded, especially since I started this channel. I never would have thought that we would have seen healthcare on the XRPL back in 2018. With strong objectives to bring needed innovation to the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. This continues by saying XRPH intends to do this by simplifying and creating fast payment transactions between market participants and by bringing transparency by way of tracking pharmaceuticals from inception to the consumer, combating the multi-billion-dollar counterfeit medicine industry, which in some countries this is a problem, with an interface with interactive engagement between customers and healthcare service providers via the mobile and web app. And now they have just welcomed another doctor on their team. So great news here. Wanted to thank DJ Peter Vass for posting that. I saw this next headline, and I'm not going to delve into it so much, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention from XRP Crypto Wolf here. Did you know the SEC prevented Circle's plans from going public? Yeah, Circle was planning on going public, and apparently the SEC had something to do with them putting that off. Now, we know Brad Garlinghouse has said the same thing. Ripple plans to go public. Obviously, they want to get this lawsuit behind them, but Ripple's not the only company. Circle apparently is in the same boat. Now, James K. Filan bringing us this, okay? Investment banker declarant files a response to Ripple's opposition to the motion by investment banker declarant to shield from public view his name, position, and employer. So the Sidley law firm was hired to take on this case. Dear Judge Torres, we write to reply to defendant's letter partially opposed. Investment banker's declarant's motion to seal his declaration in the above referenced manner. None of the defendant's arguments overcome investment banker declarant's strong privacy and safety interests in permitting the narrowly tailored decisions. As a preliminary matter, defendant's lead argument that investor banker declarant, an employee, guys, of an SEC regulated entity. So let's make note of who this is. Submitted his declaration to the SEC voluntarily. Offers no real basis for denying leave to redact. Investment banker declarant works at an SEC registered broker-dealer, and as such, as a sophisticated defense counsel in this case well know, was not in the position to decline a request from the SEC, his firm's primary regulator, for a declaration. Had investment banker declarant declined to provide a statement, the SEC's alternative was to compel his testimony to authenticate the document at issue. It is self-evident that where a witness's only options are to provide a declaration or to testify, there is no truly voluntary choice to be made. So what they are saying is he is, kind of at the mercy of his company, who is heavily regulated by the SEC. We still don't know who that is. Fred Rispoli here responding, the legal costs are likely being paid by our mystery declarant's employer. As Sidley is a major big law firm that is very expensive. Response is interesting in that it throws shade at the SEC in the most gentle way possible. Company caught between a rock and a hard place here. Interesting connection here from Tipsy Tiger. Sidley also represents the Chamber of Digital Commerce in connection with its amicus curiae brief in this case. Rob XRP here pointing this out. The SEC once again shows how despicable they are. They should not be using their position to force businesses or citizens against their will. Tipsy Tiger also responding, this is total nonsense. This was information he voluntarily supplied to his sector's regulator. Both he, the company, and the SEC tried to play the system later by the way of the subpoena. As there was no real option, of course there was, you make the SEC compel. Man up, buttercup. So just taking a look at some of the minutia here. Of course, another cog in the wheel of litigation. Waiting for this to wrap up, hopefully very soon. John Deaton here has also come out and said, we're probably not going to see regulation until 2025. He says the United States is being left behind, full stop. Crypto regulation is not coming. He posted this a few days ago, and I kind of touched on this. He did say he believes first and second quarter 2025 is likely the earliest it could get done. And I may be overly optimistic with that time estimate. The market will continue to receive guidance only through judicial results from the SEC's regulation enforcement policy. In other words, Guidance will come by federal district court decisions like the Library case, Ripple case, and the Dragon Chain case. So here's what we have John Deaton saying. Meanwhile, a little bit more of an optimistic perspective here. This one coming from Matthew Lany on Twitter. And this perspective is actually coming from Ripple employees. They were recently interviewed by Finextra, namely Susan Friedman and Andrew Whitworth. So Susan Friedman, head of global public policy, and Andrew Whitworth is the policy director in the EMEA region. They explain that Ripple has been deeply focused on policy movements both in the UK and the EU, particularly given the systemic changes endured by the industry. Now, this is not happening in the United States. However, they are looking at this. They're seeing a positive outcome in 2023, even despite the FTX collapse. So this article goes on, talks a little bit about FTX, and basically how 2022 was a huge show, discussing Celsius, Voyager, and Three Arrows Capital, to the extent that all these events were happening at the same time and causing more focus and action towards regulation. So obviously a bit of a red herring, distraction tactics. Friedman added down here that if FTX had been registered in the EU under the impending markets in crypto assets, the MiCA rules, the commingling of funds and perhaps some of the fallout we've seen may have been prevented. Yeah, hindsight is 2020. Let me just go down here with regards to regulation. This is quite a lengthy interview, quite a lengthy article, but I will link it in the description for you guys. What to expect, though, in 2023, Whitworth explains that the conversation around regulation has evolved significantly over the past 12 months, with political figures including PM Rishi Sunak and Chief Treasury Secretary John Glenn publicly calling for the UK to become a global hub for crypto. Well, the current crypto winter, exacerbated by the FTX collapse, is impacting the conversation. Progress in the space continues to plow forward. The UK doesn't really have the luxury of deciding whether it wants to put forward a regulatory framework or whether it thinks crypto is something it should or should not engage with. This is coming from Andrew Whitworth. Other countries are already doing this, and if the UK wants to continue to be a leader in financial innovation, it needs to catch up at the very least. Friedman adds the time is now, and the UK can't just sit on the sidelines while policies are being developed. So every country is obviously facing their own challenges. Speaking to the US perspective, though, while Friedman is hopeful that 2023 will deliver progress around crypto regulation, she expects less dramatic developments across the pond. So maybe in line with John Deaton's comments there, notwithstanding, our push and legislators' discussions about the need for rapid action legislative processes in these countries is what it is, and it may just take a little bit more time to get a concrete result. A sentiment also shared by Albert Issola, Minister for Digital and Financial Services for the Government of Gibraltar. Okay, guys, he spoke on the Ripple SEC case. Listen to what he has to say, not just about that, but the industry as a whole.
For me, this event that you're hosting, Olga, this morning is about smart regulation, and the United States teaching us exactly how not to do it. We still have a piece of legislation from 1946 which determines what a security is, and we're calling that interpretation and adapting it to a digital asset. You've got to be bonkers if you think that sort of framework is going to give any firm and any business any degree of certainty or security as to how they can manage their businesses. And therefore, that's where this event is focusing on smart regulation, because I believe that the US takes the view that when something is big enough, then it's going to move in and do things to it, which nobody knows where they're going to come from, why they're going to come for it. And the whole thinking behind regulatory action, in my view, should be when you're breaching something. And I don't see that in the United States. And so I think the sooner that they get to grips with actually deciding who's going to regulate this space, how they're going to regulate this space, and why they're going to regulate this space, the whole blockchain space and the whole crypto area will dramatically grow as a result of that certainty, because that's what firms are crying out for. So when firms come to Gibraltar, they want to know that they're coming here for certainty. You've got a legal framework, you know what you have to do, you know which hoops you have to jump through, you know what you have to do to stay on the right side of the law. That is a framework that gives people the certainty to be able to confidently invest and grow their businesses. And so the Ripple case, the Telegram case, and unfortunately there will probably be a few more firms very worried looking over their shoulders as to if they're going to get the call or not, for me stems from this lack of regulation. And that is what, you know, I pull the little hair I got left at, worrying about why we are in this position and why the US doesn't do what it should do, which is lead.
Why is the US not doing what they should be doing, which is lead? This coming from Albert Issola, the the Minister of Digital and Financial Services from the government of Gibraltar, a country that already has regulatory clarity. But he's critical of the US government. He's saying the rules that we already have now, they were good for securities. They're clearly not good for crypto. This, to me, at least it sounds like, he's saying that the rules need to be revamped. They are in other countries. We cannot go by the same Howey test. The other thing he's saying, though, and what sounded really positive, was that once we do get this verdict, the same thing we've been saying, right, on this channel, and I'm sure we've heard it elsewhere, the money will eventually flow into the crypto industry like a tsunami, like nothing we have ever seen before. He mentions Ripple, the Telegram case, and another one. So with regulatory certainty, he's even saying it, the Howey test is not good enough. Once we get that clarity, we will see the XRP cryptocurrency soar. Money will flow in just like that. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.